On a chilly evening, Anna sat alone on the porch, staring at the starry sky. The memories of a life lost and a love betrayed weighed heavily on her heart. Little did she know, the night would offer more than just memories. It would offer a new chance for healing. The night had fallen, and the quiet countryside lay under the soft glow of the stars. The usual sounds of crickets and rustling leaves had faded, leaving behind an eerie silence. Anna, wrapped in a light shawl, sat on the porch, her eyes fixed on the vast expanse above her. The stars shimmered like tiny jewels, scattered across the dark sky. It was a peaceful sight, one that once brought her comfort, when she wasn't haunted by the echoes of the past. She shivered slightly, not from the chill of the evening air, but from the emptiness she felt inside. It had been 40 days since she had buried her beloved husband, Michael. Anna's heart still ached from the loss. The memories of their time together were a bittersweet reminder of the life they had planned, but never lived. She thought of how they would sit on this same porch, Michael beside her, both gazing at the stars. The quiet companionship they shared was something Anna longed for now more than ever. Michael had always believed in making wishes on shooting stars. He would laugh and tell her that her wishes were too complicated, that she should wish for something simpler. But Anna had never made a wish. She simply wanted one thing, something that now felt impossible: a child, a family. The couple had spent nearly 10 years together, trying to conceive. The doctors had been kind but blunt in their diagnosis. The tests always came back the same: infertility. The dreams of becoming parents had been shattered time and time again. Even after traveling to the capital and consulting with renowned specialists, nothing had changed. Anna had always dreamed of holding a child, her child, in her arms. But fate had been cruel, and the dreams had withered away. It wasn't that Anna hadn't considered adoption. Michael had once suggested they adopt a child from an orphanage, but Anna had resisted. She couldn't bring herself to care for a child that wasn't hers by birth. She could admire children, yes, but to raise one who hadn't been carried within her had always seemed like a boundary she could never cross. Michael understood, of course, and he never pressed the issue again. Their life together had been peaceful, albeit tinged with the quiet sadness of unrealized dreams. They had moved to the village right after their marriage, after Michael's business in the city had failed. He had sold his auto parts store and taken out a loan to start anew as a farmer. At first, it had seemed like a drastic decision, but Anna had come to love the simplicity of village life. They built a small house near her grandmother's old cottage, and for a while, it seemed like things would be okay. But everything had changed after Michael's sudden death. A heart attack. The doctors said his heart had been weak, though he had never complained. Anna had always known that Michael had pushed himself too hard. He was always consumed by his work, never stopping to care for himself. But she had never imagined that it would end this way. Now, sitting alone on the porch, Anna could feel the weight of the world pressing down on her. She closed her eyes, trying to push away the memories, the pain, and the overwhelming emptiness that seemed to have no end. And just as the tears began to form, a sudden flash of light caught her attention. A shooting star. It was brief, but it felt like an eternity. For a moment, Anna was transported back to those days with Michael, making wishes together under the stars. But this time, she couldn't help herself. She whispered the words she had kept hidden in her heart for so long. "I want a child." The star seemed to fade before her words had fully escaped her lips. Anna shivered from the cold, but the weight in her chest felt just a little lighter. She stood up, wiping the tears from her eyes. Tomorrow she would face another day of running the farm, of handling everything Michael had left behind. But tonight, for the first time in weeks, Anna allowed herself to hope. The next morning, Anna woke up early, as she always did. The sun had barely risen, casting a soft golden light across the fields. She sighed as she stepped out of bed, the weight of the day ahead settling on her shoulders. Michael's absence was a constant reminder, like a heavy shadow following her wherever she went. In the kitchen, Anna prepared breakfast for herself and her son, Philip. The boy was still sleeping soundly, curled up in his little bed. Anna paused for a moment, watching him. The sweet innocence of his face brought a smile to her lips. But that smile quickly faded as she thought about how much had changed in their lives. Philip was adopted. He had been abandoned by his biological mother at a hospital, a child with no future, no one to care for him. But Anna had taken him in. She had promised to love him as her own, and she had. Over time, he had become everything to her. The pain of losing Michael had never gone away, but having Philip by her side helped her find a sense of purpose again. After breakfast, Anna made her way to the library. The new librarian, Ina, had taken over most of the duties. But Anna couldn't help but feel a sense of responsibility for the place. It had been Michael's dream to see the town thrive, and Anna was determined to honor that dream. The library was quiet, the shelves lined with books that had been carefully organized over the years. Anna's thoughts often wandered to the farm during her shifts, thinking about the crops, the animals, and what Michael had left behind. She wondered if she was doing enough to carry on his legacy. The day passed in a blur of paperwork, phone calls, and meetings with the local farmers. Anna's mind was constantly occupied with the farm's operations. The weather had been unpredictable lately, and it was crucial to ensure the crops were cared for. Joseph, the farm manager, had been invaluable, but Anna knew she couldn't rely on him forever. She had to learn the ropes herself. By late afternoon, Anna found herself walking through the fields, her boots crunching on the dry earth. The sky was beginning to darken, the golden light fading into twilight. She glanced at the rows of crops, remembering how Michael had planned to expand the farm into an orchard. That dream seemed so distant now. As she walked, her thoughts turned to the night before, the shooting star and the wish she had made. A part of her had always wanted a child, but the other part had been too afraid to hope. Now, with Philip in her life, she realized that perhaps her wish had already come true. Yet, there was still a longing within her, a yearning for something more. Anna wasn't sure what that was yet, but she felt it deep inside. Maybe, just maybe, this was the beginning of a new chapter in her life, one that would lead to healing and the fulfillment of dreams she had long abandoned. The next morning, the weather was unusually warm for early spring, and Anna felt a strange sense of calm wash over her as she went about her day. She had sent Philip to his grandmother's house for the morning, and with a rare moment of solitude, Anna found herself sitting on the porch again, gazing at the endless sky. The days had been filled with tasks, checking on the farm, ensuring everything was running smoothly. But today, Anna took a moment to breathe. She closed her eyes and listened to the sounds of the countryside, the chirping of birds, the rustling of leaves in the gentle breeze. The memory of Michael returned to her once again, but this time it didn't bring the sharp pang of grief. Instead, she felt a deep sense of gratitude for the life they had shared. He had given her so much: love, companionship, and even Philip. He had always wanted to be a father, but circumstances had never aligned. Now, Anna had the chance to be a mother, and she would make the most of it. But life, as it often does, had other plans. As she sat in the silence, a figure appeared on the horizon, a man walking toward her house. Anna squinted, trying to make out who it was. As he got closer, her heart skipped a beat. It was Christopher, the archaeologist who had been working with the team on the dig near her property. He waved as he approached, and Anna's chest tightened. She hadn't expected to see him again so soon. "Anna," Christopher greeted with a smile, his eyes glinting with the excitement of someone eager to share something important. "I thought I might find you here." Anna stood up, brushing off her apron as she looked at him. "What brings you by?" Christopher glanced around before leaning in slightly. "I've found something in the dig site, something that might change the course of the project." Anna raised an eyebrow, intrigued but cautious. "What do you mean? Let's take a walk," he suggested, motioning for her to follow him. Curiosity piqued. Anna nodded and followed Christopher as he led her through the fields. They walked in silence for a few moments, the cool breeze rustling the leaves around them. Finally, Christopher spoke. "We've uncovered a burial site, ancient artifacts, pottery, and some metal objects. It's a significant find, and we'll need to call in specialists soon." Anna nodded, her mind still on the topic of the farm. She had no time for archaeology. Yet there was something in Christopher's expression, a spark of passion, that made her want to hear more. "We'll be documenting everything." Christopher continued, "But there's more. I found something that might interest you." Anna stopped walking, turning to face him. "What is it?" Christopher hesitated for a moment before answering. "I found a set of keys that might unlock something buried deeper than just artifacts." They arrived at the excavation site, and Anna was immediately struck by the transformation of the landscape. The dig had unearthed more than just ancient objects. It had uncovered pieces of the past that had been hidden for centuries. Christopher gestured to a small mound where the team had been working. "I know it might seem strange," he said, "but I think this is just the beginning. I have a feeling that this site will lead us to something much more significant." Anna looked around, her mind racing with questions. "What do you mean by something more?" Christopher turned to her, his expression serious. "I'm not just talking about the artifacts. There's a mystery here, Anna, something that might change the way we view history." Anna stood still for a moment, absorbing his words. She had always been practical, focused on the present and the future, not the past. But something about Christopher's conviction made her want to dig deeper. "Let's see what we can find," she said, determination creeping into her voice. "Maybe this mystery has something to do with the future, too." As the days passed, Anna found herself spending more and more time at the dig site. Christopher's enthusiasm was infectious, and though she had her own responsibilities at the farm, she couldn't shake the feeling that the discovery was somehow connected to her own life. The excavation continued, and the team unearthed more objects, pieces of pottery tools, and even some ancient coins. Each find added to the puzzle, but none of it seemed to connect directly to Anna or Michael's farm. One evening, as they worked late into the night, Christopher found something that caught Anna's eye. It was a small, delicate necklace with a pendant shaped like a heart. "Anna, look at this," Christopher said, holding the necklace up to the light. "This could be an heirloom, something of value." Anna took the necklace from him, her fingers brushing over the cool metal. It was beautiful, but something about it felt familiar, almost as if she had seen it before. She shook her head, dismissing the thought. The following morning, Anna sat at her kitchen table, the necklace still in her hands. The day was off to a slow start, with clouds hanging heavily in the sky, and she felt the weight of her responsibilities pressing down on her. Philip was in school, and for the first time in weeks, Anna had a moment of peace. She absent-mindedly turned the necklace over in her hands. And then, suddenly, she gasped. She recognized the design. It was the same pendant that Michael had once given her as a gift, the one he had promised would always be with her, no matter what happened. She had lost it years ago. How had it ended up here? Anna's heart raced as she stared at the necklace, the memories flooding her mind. Michael had given it to her on their wedding day, a symbol of his love and commitment. The pendant was more than just jewelry. It was a promise, one that she had cherished for years. But how had it ended up here, in the dirt of an ancient burial site? Her mind spun with questions. She had never told anyone about the necklace's significance. Michael had always kept it close, and when it went missing, Anna assumed it had been lost forever. But now it was back, and it had found its way into Christopher's hands. She couldn't understand it, but deep down, she felt that the mystery of the pendant was somehow tied to the farm, to Michael, and maybe even to Philip. With a trembling hand, she tucked the necklace into her pocket and stood up, determined to get to the bottom of this. She needed answers. Later that day, Anna met with Christopher at the excavation site. The sun was beginning to set, casting long shadows over the fields. There was a sense of finality in the air, as if the dig was nearing its end. But Anna knew she couldn't stop now. Not after everything she had discovered. "I need to talk to you," she said, her voice steady but urgent. "About the necklace." Christopher glanced at her, his brow furrowed in confusion. "What do you mean?" "It was Michael's," Anna replied, her voice cracking slightly. "He gave it to me a long time ago, but it disappeared, and now it's here, at the dig site." "How did it get here, Christopher?" Christopher's eyes widened in surprise. I don't know, Anna, but it's strange, isn't it? Maybe this place holds more than we thought." Anna took a deep breath, trying to steady herself. "What do you think it means? What does it all have to do with me, with Michael, with the farm?" Christopher looked at her, a hint of uncertainty in his eyes. "I don't know yet, but I believe there's more to this than just ancient artifacts. Something is connecting the past to the present, Anna, and I think you're a part of it." As the days passed, Anna couldn't shake the feeling that the necklace was a sign, one that had been waiting for her to uncover it. She spent more time at the dig site, working alongside Christopher and his team, but her thoughts were always elsewhere. The weight of the pendant in her pocket reminded her that there was still so much to learn. One afternoon, as they were sifting through more dirt, Anna stumbled upon something strange, an old, weathered piece of parchment. It was torn and fragile, but as she unrolled it, the words began to take shape. It was a map that seemed to lead to the very heart of the farm. "Christopher, look at this," Anna called out, her voice trembling. She held the map up, her fingers brushing over the faded ink. Christopher's eyes widened as he examined the parchment. This is incredible. It's a map of the land, but it's different from anything we've seen before. This could lead us to something." Anna's pulse quickened. "What do you mean? What's hidden here?" Christopher's expression was serious. "I don't know, but we need to follow this map. It could be the key to understanding everything. Michael's past, the farm's legacy, and maybe even the truth about the necklace." Anna nodded, her heart racing. "Let's do it. I need to know what this all means." The next morning, Anna and Christopher set out to follow the map. The sky was overcast, the air heavy with the promise of rain. They walked across the farm, retracing the steps indicated by the map, moving carefully over the fields and through the trees. The map led them deeper into the land than they had ever gone before. There, at the edge of the property, they found a small, overgrown path. It seemed insignificant at first, but as they followed it, the path opened up into a secluded area. At the center of the clearing, there was an old stone well, its surface worn with age. Anna felt a chill run down her spine. This was the place from the map. Christopher knelt beside the well, brushing away the dirt and debris. "There's something here," he muttered, pulling at a metal handle buried beneath the soil. Slowly, the cover of the well creaked open. Anna's heart pounded in her chest as they peered inside. The darkness below seemed endless, but they both felt that this was where the answers lay. Without hesitation, Christopher lowered himself into the well and Anna followed. The air was thick with the smell of earth and decay, but the promise of discovery pushed them forward. They carefully descended into the well, their footsteps echoing in the silence. At the bottom, they found something unexpected. A hidden chamber carved into the rock. It was small, but there, in the center of the room, was a chest. Its surface was intricately designed, but it looked old, ancient even. Anna felt her breath catch in her throat. "This is it," she whispered. "This is what the map led us to." Christopher reached for the chest and carefully lifted it open. Inside, there were several objects, but the one that caught Anna's eye was a small, ornate box. It was made of wood, but its surface was covered in intricate carvings. She reached out and picked it up, her fingers trembling as she brushed away the dust. Inside the box was a letter, folded neatly. Anna opened it with shaking hands, the words blurred by years of wear and tear. But one line stood out clearly. "To the future of our land, may this gift guide you through the trials ahead." Anna's mind raced as she read the letter. It felt like a message from the past, meant specifically for her. It was as if Michael, or someone else, had known that this moment would come, that she would need the guidance of the past to navigate the challenges ahead. "This is it," she said softly, clutching the letter to her chest. "This is Michael's legacy. This is what he left behind for me." Christopher looked at her, his eyes filled with understanding. "It seems like everything is connected, Anna. The farm, Michael, the necklace, it's all been leading to this." Anna nodded, tears welling up in her eyes. "I've been so lost, but now I see. This is my path, and I won't let anything stop me." With the letter in hand and the chest secured, Anna and Christopher returned to the house, their minds buzzing with the weight of their discovery. The map had led them to the well, and the well had led them to the chest, but there was still so much to understand. Anna couldn't help but feel that this was just the beginning. The farm was more than just land. It was a part of something much bigger, a legacy that had been passed down through the generations. Later that evening, Anna sat at the kitchen table, the letter spread out before her. She read it over and over again, trying to decipher its meaning. It was clear that the message was for her. But what was the gift mentioned in the letter? As Anna pondered over the letter, the pieces of the puzzle began to fall into place. She couldn't shake the feeling that everything she had experienced, the loss, the betrayal, the unexpected arrival of Philip, had led her here to this moment. It was as if Michael's past was guiding her, showing her a path that would lead to a future she could never have imagined. Christopher, who had been watching her quietly, spoke up. "Anna, what does it mean? The gift. Do you think Michael left something behind for you?" Anna turned to him, her eyes brimming with both uncertainty and hope. "I think it's a symbol, a way forward." She looked down at the letter, then back at Christopher. "Michael's legacy isn't just about the farm. It's about the family we created. And now, it's about taking care of what's left." The following days were filled with a sense of purpose as Anna set out to fulfill what she now knew was her destiny. The chest, the letter, the map, they had all pointed her toward a future of responsibility, of nurturing not just the land, but her newfound family. But the discovery also came with a heavy heart. Anna realized that Michael had never truly let go of his past with Elizabeth. The affair, the secret child, it was all a shadow that had loomed over their relationship. Now, in the wake of his death, Anna was left to carry the weight of both his love and his mistakes. Despite everything, Anna knew she couldn't let go of the love they had shared, and she couldn't abandon Philip, who was more than just a child in need. He was her son, her legacy. As Anna worked the land alongside Christopher, she felt a sense of peace she hadn't known in years. The weight of Michael's death still hung heavy in her heart, but she found comfort in the life she was building. Philip, her son, had brought her a sense of joy she never thought possible. Christopher, too, seemed to find a new purpose in working alongside her. Though they never spoke of it directly, there was a quiet understanding between them. They were both carrying burdens, but they were also creating something new, something beautiful. One evening, as they worked late into the night, Christopher stopped and looked at Anna. "You've done well, Anna. You've built something here, something worth fighting for." Anna smiled, her heart swelling with pride. "We've built it together." Weeks passed, and the farm began to thrive. The crops grew stronger, the orchard began to bear fruit, and the community around Anna rallied behind her. The legacy Michael had started was now hers to carry, and she was doing it with grace and determination. But there were still moments of doubt. Every time Anna looked at Philip, she couldn't shake the feeling that she was raising someone else's child, even though her heart told her otherwise. Philip was hers in every way that mattered, but the truth of his origins still haunted her. One evening, as Anna and Philip walked through the orchard, she knelt down to his level and looked into his eyes. "You know, Philip, you're my heart. You're the reason I get up every morning." Philip smiled, his eyes bright with innocence. "I know, Mom. I love you too." As winter approached, the farm's work slowed, and Anna found herself with more time to reflect. The pain of her loss was still there, but she was learning to live with it, finding solace in the rhythms of the farm, in the quiet moments with Philip and Christopher. One day, as snow began to fall gently across the fields, Anna received a letter. It was from the orphanage, confirming that Philip's adoption was finalized. The legal battle had been long, but now he was officially her son. Tears filled Anna's eyes as she read the letter. It was a bittersweet moment, knowing that the child she loved was officially hers, but also realizing that she would never fully know the truth about his past. Still, she embraced it. She had always known that family was more than blood. Christopher's visits to the farm became more frequent as winter settled in. They spent their evenings by the fire, talking about the future and their plans for the land. It was clear that their bond had deepened, but neither of them was ready to speak of it. One night, as they sat together, Christopher glanced at Anna. "You've built something beautiful here, Anna. You've found a way to make it all work." Anna smiled softly. "I had to. For Philip, for Michael, for all of us." Christopher looked away, his expression softening. "And for yourself too, Anna. You deserve happiness." Anna didn't know how to respond. Happiness had felt impossible for so long, but in this moment, with Christopher beside her, she felt a flicker of hope. As spring arrived, the farm flourished, and with it, Anna's sense of peace. Philip was thriving, and she had become a true part of the community. Christopher's support had been invaluable, and the two of them had built something strong and enduring. But as the seasons changed, so too did Anna's heart. She had come to terms with the loss of Michael and the discovery of his betrayal. But she knew she had to let go of the past and move forward, for herself and for Philip. One evening, as they stood on the porch, Anna turned to Christopher. "I think it's time I let go," she said softly. Christopher looked at her, his eyes full of understanding. "Let go of what, Anna?" "The past," she replied, her voice steady. "I've carried it for too long." The days grew warmer, and with them, Anna's resolve grew stronger. She began to make plans for the future, not just for the farm, but for her family. The legacy she had inherited from Michael was hers to shape, and she was determined to make it her own. Christopher was there every step of the way, supporting her in ways she never expected. And though their bond had deepened, Anna still couldn't bring herself to speak of the future. She didn't know what it held, but for the first time in years, she felt ready to face it. The seasons had changed, and so had Anna. She had faced the past, embraced her future, and found strength in the love she shared with Philip and Christopher. The farm was flourishing and her family was thriving, but most importantly, Anna had found peace within herself. As she sat on the porch one evening, watching the sun set over the fields, she knew that this was just the beginning. There was more ahead, more work to be done, more challenges to face. But for the first time in a long time, she was ready. Anna had built something stronger than she ever imagined. What's holding you back from building your own legacy? Share your thoughts in the comments below.